When a man loves, he loves silently, deeply, fiercely. But when that love is ripped away, he breaks, and honestly, nobody notices. They say move on, they say man up. But inside, a storm rages, a pain no one warned him about. In the beginning, love was survival. For our earliest ancestors, the world was a place of constant danger and uncertainty. Every day was a struggle against the elements, wild animals, and hunger. In this harsh environment, the bonds that formed between people were not just emotional, they were essential for staying alive. Love, in its earliest form, was a force that brought people together, forging connections that meant the difference between life and death. Men sought mates not just for passion, but for legacy, for protection, for a future. The choice of a partner was about more than attraction. It was about finding someone who could help raise children, defend the family, and ensure the survival of the next generation. In these early societies, every member of the group played a role, and the partnership between man and woman was the foundation of the tribe's strength. Love was practical, rooted in the need to build a life together and to pass on knowledge, skills, and genes. The bond between man and woman wasn't luxury, it was life. These connections provided warmth on cold nights, comfort in times of loss, and hope for the future. The emotional ties that developed were not just about romance, they were about trust, cooperation, and mutual support. In a world where every day could bring new challenges, having someone to rely on was the ultimate form of security. Over thousands of years, our brains hardwired deep attachment. The need for connection became part of our biology, shaping the way we think, feel, and behave. Scientists now know that the same neural pathways that helped our ancestors survive are still active in us today. The chemicals released when we bond with others, like oxytocin and dopamine, helped cement relationships, making love not just a feeling but a powerful evolutionary tool, especially for men, who often had fewer reproductive chances. In many early societies, competition for mates was fierce. Not every man would find a partner, and those who did had to work hard to keep their families safe and secure. The stakes were high, and the emotional bonds that formed were a way to ensure loyalty and commitment. For men, love was both a privilege and a responsibility, a chance to leave a legacy, but also a risk, as losing a partner could mean losing everything. Losing a partner meant losing everything. It was not just the pain of heartbreak, but the loss of safety, support, and the future they had built together. In the story of humanity, love has always been more than a feeling. It has been the force that helped us survive, thrive, and become who we are today. Modern neuroscience paints a haunting picture, one that reveals the intricate, often surprising differences between the male and female brain, especially when it comes to love, attachment, and emotional connection. For centuries, poets and philosophers have speculated about the mysteries of the heart, but now science is beginning to unravel the biological threads that weave our most intimate bonds. When a man falls in love, his brain is flooded with dopamine, the pleasure chemical that lights up the reward centers of the mind. This surge is powerful, creating a sense of euphoria, excitement, and even obsession. Alongside dopamine, vasopressin is released, a hormone closely linked to bonding and long-term commitment. These chemicals work together, forging a deep, almost primal attachment to his partner. The effect is so strong that, in some studies, the male brain's response to romantic love has been compared to the effects of addictive substances, intense, focused, and all-consuming. These neurochemicals create an intense, focused attachment, making the object of his affection the center of his emotional universe. But what about women? Women, too, bond deeply, but the architecture of their brains and the chemistry of their emotions have evolved along a slightly different path. Evolution designed the female brain to be remarkably adaptive, shaped by the demands of childbirth, nurturing, and the ever-changing dynamics of community life. Women's brains are primed to handle social shifts, whether it's the arrival of a new child, changes in the group, or even the pain of loss. Oxytocin, often called the cuddle hormone, plays a starring role promoting trust, empathy, and social bonding. This means that while women can form deep, lasting attachments, their brains are also equipped to adapt, recover, and rebond when circumstances change. In contrast, the male brain is often more singular in its focus. When a man truly loves, he commits his entire emotional world to that bond. This can make heartbreak especially devastating, as the neural pathways forged by love are not easily rewired. The science of love reveals that beneath our differences, both men and women are wired for connection, but the ways we bond, adapt, and heal are as unique as our individual stories. For generations, culture has told men to be strong, silent, and invulnerable. From a young age, boys are taught that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. They're told to man up, to hide their pain, and to never let anyone see them cry. This message is everywhere, woven into movies, sports, and even the way families talk to their sons. The result? Many men grow up believing that vulnerability is something to be ashamed of, something to hide at all costs. Boys who show sadness or fear are often punished, either with harsh words or cold indifference. Instead of being comforted, they're told to toughen up. Over time, this teaches them to suppress their feelings, to bottle up their emotions, and to put on a brave face even when they're hurting inside. The world expects them to be stoic, to never ask for help, and to handle everything on their own. So when heartbreak comes, when relationships end or life takes a painful turn, many men find themselves completely unprepared. They have no emotional toolkit, no practice in reaching out for support, and often no one to turn to. The silence they've been taught to keep becomes a prison. Instead of talking about their pain, they withdraw further, feeling isolated and alone. The support systems that might help them heal are often missing, leaving them to struggle in silence. Research shows the consequences are serious. Studies reveal that men are 3 times more likely than women to suffer severe depression after a breakup or major loss. The emotional pain can be overwhelming, but without healthy ways to process it, men are left vulnerable to mental health struggles that can last for years. Instead of seeking help, many turn to harmful coping mechanisms. Men are twice as likely to engage in substance abuse, reckless behavior, or even self-harm after emotional trauma. These choices can spiral into addiction, legal trouble, or worse. The cycle continues, fueled by the belief that real men don't ask for help. But the truth is, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's a vital part of healing and being human. Today, love moves at the speed of a swipe. Connections are fleeting, hearts are disposable. For men, already wired for deep singular bonding, this culture is devastating. He loves hard, and when he's ghosted, replaced, or left behind without closure, his brain reacts like it's physical trauma. But pain isn't the end, it's the beginning. Men are learning to reclaim emotion, to heal openly, to seek help, to rebuild, not by hardening, but by embracing vulnerability. Real strength isn't silence, it's feeling, and rising anyway.